With 20 new starters, the Washington Huskies football team is the mystery football team of the Big Ten this season. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked on Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked on Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. Coming up on 40 years as a sports talk show host and a play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen every day, and we're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com and get started. So what the rest of the Big Ten needs to know about Washington, we'll figure it out. Plus big news in the Big Ten, more on SpyGate and some freshman quarterbacks looking good. And our Tuesday tweets, this might be the best one we've ever done. I'm looking forward to this. These are good. These are really, really good. Meanwhile, the Washington Huskies, in my opinion, coming to the Big Ten is the most mysterious of the 18 conference teams. I'm just not sure what they are. I don't think anybody can say with any certainty what they are, but we'll give it a go. I know what they were last year. They were pretty darn good. They were Pac-12 champions. They were national runner-ups. Of course, lost to Michigan, and I think that was the best Michigan team I've ever seen in my lifetime, by the way, in that national championship game. But that's not all they have in common with Michigan. They will have a new head coach. They will have a new quarterback. They'll have a whole bunch of players from last year's team that are just gone, and they all need to be replaced. In fact, 20 of Washington's 22 starters are gone. They're starting over. So let's look ahead and see what the 2024 Huskies are all about. Things began to change rapidly right after the season when, of course, Nick Saban retired, and Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, left Washington a couple days later, took the gig at Tuscaloosa. Although the Huskies didn't go down without a fight, they offered to double DeBoer's salary, but it wasn't enough. He was gone. So a couple days after that, the Huskies hired Jedd Fisch from Arizona. Now, maybe the best quality about Fisch is that he knows how to rebuild. He took the Arizona gig. He took over a winless program, got them to a 10-win program in no time at all. Now, something I recently learned about Fisch I did not know. He did not play football ever. It's rarity in coaching to have never played the game. But his resume includes time as a longtime assistant in the NFL and at Power 5 college football. So he's good to go. And he's not taking over a 0-win team in Seattle like he did at Arizona. However, this is a complete reset following attrition to the NFL and the transfer portal with all these kids. So Fisch and his offensive coordinator, Brennan Carroll, got to go to work. Carroll, by the way, in case you didn't know, is the son of former USC and Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll. Now, job one is to replace Michael Penix at quarterback. Michael Penix Jr., who I thought threw the best, most accurate deep ball in all of college football last year. I was one of the first ones to start talking about. People go, "Well, are you serious?" Because they remember when they were at Indiana and then Washington. Yeah, and then as it turned out, a lot of people started agreeing with me by the time the end of the season showed up, and they were on national TV every week and then the national championship. And of course, he became a first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, a team that already had a starting quarterback. He's good. That's going to be tough to replace. But there might be some hope. So let's look at this a little bit here. The Huskies, they will have an experienced quarterback stepping in. Now, from Washington, he's a transfer in. We got Will Rogers. Will Rogers coming in from Mississippi State. And remember, he got a few passing tips along the way from the late passing guru coach Mike Leach before he sadly passed away. Some of that time paid off because Rogers is the SEC's second all-time leading passer, where he completed over 1,000 passes in his career. So that's good for Huskies fans. Got a nice experienced quarterback coming in. And he'll complete a lot of passes for Washington as well. He doesn't have quite the long-range touch that Penix had, but few did, right? Few have that ability. And that's a pretty high bar. Again, I said Penix was the best at that in college football in 2023. But as far as the rest of the quarterback room goes, there's Arizona's Desmond Williams. He came with Fisch to Seattle. He's more athletic, more mobile than Rodgers. Rodgers is a steady pocket passer, but Williams' familiarity with what Fisch wants and his athletic ability, maybe that'll earn him a few snaps here. But Rodgers will be the guy. There was also a big hole at running back. Remember Dylan Johnson, who I will always remember for admirably trying to play through an injury in the championship game. I remember a game a few weeks prior to that where he lit up the USC Trojans for 256 yards on the ground. That's gone. That's going to be hard to replace. But Fisch is bringing his starting running back from Arizona. Jonah Coleman is coming in. Had 1,000 yards from scrimmage, as a matter of fact. So he can get the job done. And do you remember, Huskies fans, do you remember Cameron Davis from 2022? He was injured all 2023. He's coming back from that injury. So some depth and with the running game. That's pretty good. Now, up front, Washington had a tremendous offensive line. They won the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line in the country. They won it this year. Michigan won it 2 years prior to that. They had 5 guys up front, all had eligibility left. Not one of them came back. Now, 2 of them went to the NFL and then 3 transferred elsewhere. But it's next man up. There are other guys ready to go. 2 of the linemen who are ready and have earned their time. The 2 of them are 4 stars. And they picked up another kid from San Diego State. So I think they're going to be decent up front as well. You know, it takes time for new guys to work together and all that. So let's talk about the real hole in this offense with Washington. And let's talk about their wide receivers and how they're going to fill that. Rome Odunze with the Bears, Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan, they're all in the NFL. They combined for 206 catches and 27 touchdowns last year. You can't replace that. You can't replace that. All 3 are in the NFL. Also, both tight ends, Jack Westover and Devin Culp, they're in the NFL. Now, they get a kid, Jeremiah Hunter, comes in from Cal. Giles Jackson, he was an experienced slot receiver. He'll get more touches this year. 6'4" Denzel Boston started to show his ability in spring ball. Looks like he may be the number 1 guy out there, number 1 target. They took their safety, Vincent Holmes. They flipped him to wide receiver with his athleticism, and they got a 4-star and Rashid Williams entering his 2nd season, just kind of getting into the flow. Now with the new coaching staff, fresh start, all that. Maybe there's enough talent in there to get some catches and some touchdowns. So it's not going to be what it was last year. It can't be. That was as good as it's going to get. But anyway, they got people. It's not like they're starting from ground zero, I think, at wide receiver. They're much better off. Now, remember how we mentioned Pete Carroll's son is the offensive coordinator. Well, Bill Belichick's son is now the defensive coordinator. First time he's been a college defensive coordinator. By the way, both Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick have been seen around camp every once in a while, back in the spring and all that kind of stuff. So maybe they'll be around with a little influence. But here's the deal. On defense, only 2 starters return on the defensive side of the ball. Now, that's 2 more than the offense. Offense has none. Defense has 2. Alfonso Tuputala is back at linebacker, and Elijah Jackson returns at corner. That's it. That's it. Coach Fisch did bring Arizona's All Pac 12 corner Ephesians Prysock with him. And that was a great get because now he's coupled with Jackson. So they've got 2 good corners. That'll be good. Safeties Cameron Fabiakulinen will be there. Tristan Dunn, they're 4-star recruits. Now it's their time to step up and play. And so there are some pieces. It's not empty. We're not starting with a team that didn't win any games last year. So the next guys, the second string, whatever you want to call them, a little bit of culture, but a new coaching regime. So we'll see how it goes. I still stand by this is the biggest mystery team in the Big Ten. Now, normally when we preview a team's season, we boldly make predictions, right? We go through the schedules. We predict win-losses. You've seen us do it with just about every other team here so far this summer. I'm not going to do it with Washington. I'm not going to do it because it would just be words. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. They could be good, or they can bump back to a 500 team while they kind of get their feet under them with the new coaching regime. I'm not sure. It is a tough schedule, though. While they're putting this new system in place, a quick look at the schedule. You got a national championship rematch against Michigan. That's at home, thankfully, for the Huskies. They had a home date with Southern Cal. They got road games all the way across the country at Rutgers. They're at Iowa. They're at Penn State. They're at Oregon. Those are a lot of tough ball games. It's one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten. Welcome to the Big Ten, Washington. It's going to be a tough slate. So I don't know how it's going to translate as far as win totals go. I mean, anything above 500 would be considered successful this year. But we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how quickly they get things going. In the meantime, if you're new here, if you're one of our West Coast fans, West Coast schools, checking us out for the first time on Locked On Big Ten, if you like it, first of all, tell somebody else about it, that we're out here every day, and subscribe. I always ask everybody to subscribe. We took over this channel a year ago with 1,200 subscribers, and we're blowing right to our goal is 10,000 by the start of the season. We're this close. You can help us. Subscribe. Just click it. It's free. No other information is required. And then we're in the loop together every day. You and me talking Big Ten. So that'll be good if you just subscribe. And you can follow Locked On Big Ten for free wherever you get your podcast. That way you get the latest episode of this podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Audio versions come out at 4 a.m. Eastern. That's 1 a.m. Pacific, right? And the video on YouTube comes out at 6 a.m. Eastern. That'd be 3 o'clock Pacific. Every single day, ready for you to go, starting your day at work or catch us at lunch, whenever you want to do it. So, and don't forget to pick up some Huskies gear for the season, shirts, pennants, hats. It's all on our website with all of our podcasts. Talk Big Ten, number10.com. That's the number 10, talkbig10.com. You see the scroll on the bottom there if you're watching on video. All right, so we got some big news in the Big Ten, right? We follow up on the SpyGate story that we've been talking about for a couple of days with the notice of allegations. Jim Harbaugh, he had a statement today, and also we'll get into some freshman quarterbacks. Oh, and Nebraska and Ohio State, they're turning heads. They're turning heads. A lot of people are impressed. We'll take care of all that coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. We all love sports, and you know what makes watching sports even better? FanDuel. FanDuel makes it even more exciting. You got a little something on the game. It's awesome. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head on over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. We've got lots of baseball this summer. I'm going to give you a couple of parlays to consider here for this Tuesday night. Reds over the Marlins, along with the Yankees over the Angels. 2-team parlay right there. I like the O's over the Blue Jays, and also parlay that with the over with the Red Sox and the Royals. All right. A little tip for tonight. Check that out. Go to FanDuel.com. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Well, thank you, everybody, for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen every day. Thank you, especially you everydayers that come in here day in and day out. Meanwhile, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day, and check out our website, talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts and merchandise right there. And also, your second listen of the day. I invite you to join our friends at Locked On College Football and that podcast. Spencer McLaughlin does a great job there. Get you ready for an exciting season on the gridiron. Discussion with the upcoming season coming here, and of course the changing landscape of college athletics with NIL and expanded playoffs and realignment and transfer portals, all right there. And so check that out. Locked On College Football, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So yesterday we talked about the leaked notice of allegations that may be coming to Michigan via the NCAA. And it seems to allegedly tie Sherrone Moore to Connor Stallions and his SpyGate operation in Ann Arbor. We talked about that yesterday, old news. But former Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh, who's now the head coach of the LA Chargers, was also supposedly mentioned in this as well. And he decided to come to the media with the Chargers camp today, as he was listed as a violator in this case. and he read a prepared statement. It was very short. He said, quote, never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to teams that I have coached. No one is perfect. If you stumble, you apologize and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware nor complicit in those said allegations. So it's back to work and attacking an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, unquote. Typical Jim Harbaugh right there. Enthusiasm unknown to mankind, ready to go back to football. Anyway, that was his statement today, short and sweet. And that's the latest on that situation. Nothing else has been released on that story. Now, I was reading up on the Ohio State Buckeyes, as I like to do, and I came across one of our favorite topics, of course, the Ohio State quarterback battle. I hear that Will Howard has a new look. He's a little stronger, a little leaner, running a little different, and moving better. And then he is starting to separate himself from the field. Remember, they got a deep quarterback room of 5 players over there at Ohio State. And while he looks good, Devin Brown hasn't been looking that great. And you'll remember last year, Brown was the one that battled Kyle McCord back and forth well into week 2 of the season. If things continue, maybe Ryan Day and Chip Kelly will have an easier time naming a starting quarterback this season and actually get the opportunity to name the starter well ahead of week 1 and get into a regular game mode instead of splitting reps. That would be ideal for them. Now, regarding one of their 2 5-star freshman quarterbacks, Julian Sayin, he's the one that transferred late from Alabama after Nick Saban left. He's looking good. Everybody says he's looking really good. It's more of the same of what we heard out of him in spring ball as well. So can we see a situation where maybe Will Howard starts the season, but maybe Sayin becomes the starter later in the year because he's just too good to keep off the field? Stay tuned in Columbus. That's kind of how it feels to me right now. And let's not forget who they're throwing the ball to. If you haven't caught wind of this, if you're a Buckeyes fan, you have. They got a 5-star wide receiver who was like the best player in the country coming into college, Jeremiah Smith. You know, they're a wide receiver factory. That's nothing new. But he's also been impressive as well. All right. Also, while we're talking about quarterbacks, you know, teams sometimes hold special practices, maybe special access, VIPs, or all kinds of stuff going on with practice. But now, Nebraska, Saturday night, they held a practice at Memorial Stadium under the lights. 3,500 people showed up, paid $25 for it. They're actually using the money for name, image, and likeness money, actually. Well, the people, they got another look at freshman quarterback Dylan Raiola. Some people hadn't seen him since spring ball publicly. He's looking good. He's looking good. Another one. So he's going to step right in and play. Do you know who was it? It was Joel Klatt that said that he thinks he's very Patrick Mahomes-ish. He hesitated to say it because he knows what that means when you say that. But it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. Hey, quick basketball story for you. Do you remember Ohio State's Greg Oden? You know, he was the guy that looked like he was 50 years old when he was an 18-year-old at Ohio State. He just finished his master's degree at Ohio State in sports coaching. Was at the summer commencement ceremony here recently. For those of you a little younger, maybe don't remember, the 6'11 Oden played 1 season for the Buckeyes from 06 to 07. A team won the Big Ten championship, won the Big Ten tournament championship, and was the NCAA Final Four runner-up. Afterward, Oden jumped right to the NBA. He was the number 1 overall pick by the Trailblazers, and he just kept getting injured. Missed his entire rookie season because he needed microfracture surgery on the knee. The Trailblazers finally let him go in 2012 after multiple chances. He had missed the 2 previous seasons then as well. And injuries plagued his entire career. Never reached his full potential. But anyway, getting a degree. All right, coming up, we got Tuesday tweets. We do this every Tuesday. I grab them and repost them on Twitter. You follow us on Twitter or X at TalkBig10. This might be the best one ever. This might be the best one ever. I'm very excited about that. It's coming up next. right here on Locked On Big Ten. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts. For your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. And with all the parts you need and all the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. It is time for Tuesday Tweets. Always one of my favorite segments. You guys are pretty creative out there. There's some good stuff here. A lot of it revolves around the new teams in the Big Ten. I'm going to put this on screen if you're audio only. I'll try and describe it as best I can. And those of you watching on the video can check it out. This one, as we started off, is from the Big Ten at Big Ten Conference. And the Big Ten officially welcomes Oregon, UCLA, USC, and Washington. It's the Big Ten logo with all 18 teams. You see the new teams there on the bottom: Washington, USC, and Oregon, and UCLA right there. Looks good. It looks natural, like it's always been there. This one is from at NBC Sports, who of course has the TV contract with the Big Ten on Big Saturday Night. And it has the NBC logo, Big Saturday Night logo, and on the four corners, the UCLA, Southern Cal, Washington, and Oregon logos. They're very excited to add them. So are we. Very excited. All right. Here is from at College Football on Fox. You can't be outdone at NBC. Got to put something on Fox here. It's a map of the United States, Big Ten logo, Big Ten map, and it's got all the states colored in with school logos on top of them. This was a little more difficult to describe if you're on audio only, but it looks cool. It's a big map. We're all over it, coast to coast, east to west, north to south. Big Ten everywhere. Big, big footprint. Here is one from at Purdue Sports. It says the train rolls westward, and welcoming the four West teams. Welcome to the Big Ten in Purdue's black and gold with the four new school logos below it. A lot of schools, I couldn't put them all on here, but a lot of the schools very welcoming to the four new schools. You know, it's all good and happy now. Well, what happens when we're rivals on the football field, right? Here is one from at Rutgers. Speaking of another school, at Rutgers Athletics, welcome aboard. Hashtag Big Ten welcome. It is the four mascots all together. Welcome to the Big Ten. And the Rutgers logo in the lower right-hand corner. Look at this piece of art. These are the four welcomes to the four schools with the four mascots. This is from us. This is me on Twitter at Talk Big Ten, welcoming Oregon, USC, Washington, and UCLA. I grabbed them. Here's a screenshot of all four of them. We posted these out, and I think they look rather good. So I thought I'd give them a shout on our own segment on the show. Our own tweets on Locked On Big Ten. Here is from the Big Ten Conference, the Big Ten Studios in Illinois. It is a picture of the Duck mascot and first day on the job. If you were unaware of this, we've talked about it numerous times here on this podcast. The Oregon Duck mascot has been going around, left the Big Ten Studios, and has been showing up every day at a different Big Ten campus in front of the football stadium, trying to get in, taking pictures, putting it on social media. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it immensely. Many of you have. Taking this mascot stuff to a whole new level. Here he is. Here's a close-up of him at Big Ten Network. Just says sup. This is eyes and beak and the Oregon hat. Love it. Here's the Duck at West Lafayette. He's riding a train. So this is Barstool Big Ten. The Duck has acquired a new mode of transportation, riding the Purdue train. Like that one. Here he is from at Barstool Big Ten. Here he is in Madison, Wisconsin. We repeat, he is in Madison. And here's tweet at at University of Washington Madison Police. They tweeted out, Bucky Badger, their mascot. Bucky, please report to Camp Randall, to the Arch as soon as possible. There's the police with the duck too. Yeah, he's everywhere. Now, let's go to Nebraska. This is from at Joey35T. That's head coach Matt Rule running stadium stairs. Brick wall for that man, it says. And he's getting in shape, running the steps on a hot summer day in Nebraska with the player. Good job, Coach Rule. All right, the controversy going on around Michigan. This is from at Swanky Wolverine. How all the Michigan fans slept last night. It's SpongeBob in Michigan gear, Michigan blanket, sleeping very peacefully with a picture of the national championship Wolverines hanging on the wall. Resting easy. And speaking of Swanky Wolverine, here is a picture of J.J. McCarthy working out with the Vikings, but he is drinking water. Oh, that's not water. That's Buckeye tears. Oh, what a shot. What a shot that is. All right, that is Tuesday tweet. I told you, that was one of the best ones we ever had, right? Maybe the best. If you want to tweet us out, hit us up on X or Twitter at TalkBig10, and you put one out there. If it's great, we find it, post it here on the podcast, and put you out there in front of everybody. All right. Again, many ways to reach out to us on Twitter, X at TalkBig10, that we just said, number 10. Don't forget our website, TalkBig10, number 10.com. You see the scroll on the bottom. Get yourself your favorite school's merchandise. Also, all of our podcasts go there chronologically, and then we group them by team. We spent the first half of the podcast today talking about the Washington Huskies. This will go under the Washington section, so you can find all that stuff really easy. And we invite you, after this podcast, to watch another one of Locked On Big Ten. Don't forget your comments on YouTube as well. We always appreciate that. And also subscribe. Our push to 10,000 subscribers. This close. You can put us over the top. Subscribe and follow this podcast right now on your favorite podcast app and get the latest episode of Locked On Big Ten as soon as it becomes available each and every day. And for your second listen, check out Locked On College Football with Spencer McLaughlin. Get ready for the upcoming season, all the nil news, transfer portal, college football playoff expansion, the season, all right there. Locked On College Football, available on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, every team, every day. That'll do it. We're going to talk some USC Trojans tomorrow. Lincoln Riley may have a quarterback, but does he have defense? He thinks he does. All that coming up tomorrow. So thank you for your time today. I always appreciate it. Tell your friends about us, and I can't wait till we meet next time. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten.